Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn about some concepts related to strings. Strings is part of Module 3 of the Computer Programming course in Presidency University. I am Sneha S. Bagalkot, Assistant Professor working in Department of CSE, Presidency University. So in the previous video, we have discussed some basic concepts related to strings. So we have seen how to take input of a string and print it. That is the output. So basically formatted input output functions like scanf and printf, and unformatted input output functions like getS and putS. So we have seen problems related to the formatted and unformatted input output of string. Then next we have also learnt about some operations on strings, like how to find the length of a string or how to concatenate two strings. So these are nothing but string manipulation functions. In this video, we will learn in detail about the string manipulation functions. So here the functions which we have discussed, that is string length or string concatenation, was without using the built-in functions. So that is exactly to show the concept of how to find the length. For example, so we are counting the number of characters in the string up to the null character. So excluding the null characters, the number of letters or number of characters in the string will constitute the length of the string. Similarly, we have also learned to how to find the concatenation of two strings. That is nothing but we have two strings, combine them together and we will get the resultant string. So for example, we have taken a first name and second string we have taken as last name. When we concatenate them both, we get the full name. So this is also one of the string manipulations, or we can say operations on the string. So these are to show the exact step-by-step working of the string operations. Now the same thing can be executed or implemented using certain built-in functions. So these built-in functions are defined in the header file string.h. So here we have the string manipulation functions defined in string.h. So that means we need to include the header file string.h along with stdio.h in each of the program where we use these built-in string manipulation functions. So let us see them one by one. So we have various kinds of string manipulation functions, and they will be used with the help of keywords. So these keywords are the string manipulations. So starting, the first one is strlen. Since it is a keyword, it is to be specified in lowercase letters. So string length or strlen will determine the length of the string. That is the number of characters in the string excluding the null character. The second one we have is strcpy. This is a string manipulation function, again defined in the header string.h, and it is used to copy the content of one string to another. So we will see the syntax of each of these functions in the next slide. So initially we will define each of the string manipulation functions first, and then we will see the syntax, and next we will use the functions in program. So the second one is strcpy. It copies the content of one string to another string. The third function is strcmp. So string compare. So it compares one string with another. If both the strings are equal, it returns a value of 0. If one string is smaller than the other, so it returns a non-zero value. So the value which is non-zero may be a negative number or it may be a positive number. So that depends on the value of the strings which are compared. The next function is strcat. So this is used to combine two strings. This is nothing but string concatenation. So these are some basic operations, and next we have a variation in these functions. So while including some extra additional concepts. So let us see. strcpy is a little similar to strcpy, but here we have an additional n. So that means we are going to copy block of n characters from one string to another. How is this different from strcpy? strcpy copies the entire string from the destination source to the destination, but strncpy copies only n characters, so that block of n characters from the source to the destination. So how to denote this is part of the syntax. The next function is strncmp. This can be compared to strcmp. So strcmp compares the whole string. So the first string is compared as a whole with the full string 2. But in strncmp, we compare only a block of n characters from one string to another. The next function is strncat. In comparison with strcat, we have the similar difference here, that is n letters are appended. So when we say strcat, the whole string, the second string is appended at the end of the first string. But in strncat, only the specified n characters will be appended to the end of the other string. For example, if we have computer as string 1, programming as string 2, and if we specify the n value as 4, so when we concatenate, so using strcat, okay, so there we don't need the value of n at all. So using strcat, it concatenates both the strings together, so the resultant string will be computer programming. When we use strncat, we need to specify the value of n. So if n is 4, first string is taken computer, and the first 4 letters of string 2, which is prog, will be appended to the end of computer. So the resultant string will be computer prog. So this is the string manipulation function. So these are the list of various string manipulation functions. So let us see one by one with the syntax. So here we have the first function, which is strlen. So since it is used to find the length of the string, which is nothing but a number, it is a integer. So this strlen returns an integer, which is the length of the string. So we specify the keyword strlen, and then within bracket we specify the string. So the name of the string will be specified, and we are going to assign the return value to an integer variable. So for example, if we have a string, say computer, so strlen of that is, so whatever is the name of the string we have declared. So if it is strlen of s, so s is equal to computer. So it counts the number of characters. So computer. So there are 8 characters. So it returns 8. And if we have given this variable as say L, so L is equal to strlen of S. So S is computer, L will be the number of letters, that is 8. So it counts the number of characters in the string. So this is the string syntax for strlen. So if we are using strlen in our program, we need to include the header file string.h. So if we are using any of these built-in functions, it is mandatory to include string.h in the program. The next function we have is strcpy. So it is important to note the order of the strings. So here we have strcpy, which is a keyword, and within round bracket we specify both the strings. So the first string is supposed to be the destination, and comma, second string is the source. So whatever is there in the source will be copied to the destination string. So if we have str1 comma str2, the string value from str2 will be copied to str1. So we will see this with the help of example also. We will trace it when we discuss the program in the coming slides. Right. So next we have strncpy. A little variation wherein the syntax remains the same. The keyword is strncpy. This is the name of the function. Within bracket we have destination string, comma, source, comma, number of characters. So this is the n value. So in strcpy, the entire source string is copied to destination. Whereas in strncpy, so n number, so if n is 3, 3 letters, the first 3 letters of source will be copied to destination. That is the difference between strcpy and strncpy. Next, we have strcat. So the syntax is pretty simple. strcat, within bracket we specify first comma second. So we have seen this with the example first name and then we append the last name to get the full name. So here we just specify strcat first name comma last name. So what happens is the resultant will be stored into first string. So second is appended to the end of first. Next, we have strncat, which is n letters. The first n characters of the second string is appended at the end of first string. So while concatenating in strcat, the entire second string is combined with the first string. So we get the whole string first and then second. But in strncat, only the first n characters of second string will be appended at the end of first. So if we specify n as 2, only the first 2 letters of second string will be added to the end of first string. Next, we have strcmp. So here again, we are going to have a return value. So as I just told, if both the strings are equal, it returns 0. Otherwise, it returns a non-zero value. It may be, the non-zero value may be positive or negative depending on the strings we have given as input. So here we have integer variable, any variable, for example, say c is equal to strcmp of s1 comma s2. So it compares the strings. If they are equal, the value of c will be 0. So it returns a 0 value. Otherwise, depending on the value of s1 and s2, we have a positive or negative value for c, which is the integer variable. Next is the variation for string compare with n characters. So n blocks of characters of s2 will be compared with n blocks of s1. So let us see them one by one using the program. So program number 14 in lab sheet 3 is for the first string manipulation function strlen. So this is a C program to find the length of the string using strlen. So here we have to include the header file stdio.h, which is required for standard input and output, as well as string.h. This is very important to note. If we are using any one of or more of the string manipulation functions, we need to include the string.h header file. Otherwise, it throws an error. So here, all the string manipulation functions are defined within the header file string.h. So within the main function, we first declare the required string. So say A is the name of the string of size 100 bytes and character is the data type, right, of the string. We declare a variable length, so which is to store the number of characters. So int length, and then take input for the string, whatever string we need to calculate. So get s of A. So this takes the input for a string, right? So based on the input, it is going to count the number of characters. So it is now just include like length is equal to strlen of A. Now note that this single line will perform the entire operation of counting the number of characters. This without built-in function, we had written a long lengthy code. That entire thing can be compressed into a single line by using the string manipulation function strlen. So if it is specified just find length of the string, we can mention strlen in the program. Or if it is mentioned without using built-in function, then we need to use the for loop and count each letter in the string. So once this statement is executed, it will simply count the number of characters in the string A and return that into length. And next we have to print the value of length. That is the length of the string, which is an integer. So %d will give us the value of the length of the string. So the same thing we have in the form of a flowchart. So as we have seen, so declare the required variable and take input using getS, and then we have a different variable here, but any variable may be used. So here string is the name of the string and L is the variable integer which stores the length of the string, and then we print the value of L. And optionally we may print the string also so that we can verify the length. So let us see the program execution. So we have the program number 14. So as we see here, we have the first part include the header files stdio.h and string.h, very important. Then declare the required variable. A is the string, L length is the integer which stores the length. Next part, we are taking input for the string name A, and here we are calling this function string length. So this single line performs the entire operation of counting the number of characters in the string A. So it returns the length to the variable length, and then we print the value of length. So let's compile. So compilation command is gcc. So here once we get the prompt, that means there is no error. So A, let us give a string. Say I give corona, right? There are 6 letters. Length of the string is equal to 6. So this is the execution of the program to find the length of the string using built-in function. So going back, we have the 14 program is to find length of the string. Next program is problem 15 in lab sheet 3, which is to concatenate 2 strings using the built-in function. So for concatenation, there are 2 functions as we have seen. So this program, we will implement both strcat and strncat. So we have seen the syntax. Let us see how to implement the functions similar to the syntax. So here we are including the string.h mandatory and stdio.h also, and then declare the 2 strings which we need to concatenate, string 1 and string 2, for example. Here again any name may be given. Then take input for both the strings one by one. So take input for string 1, get s string 1. Next we take input for string 2, get s of string 2. So once we take input, now we need to concatenate both the string. So whatever is the value of string 1, at the end of that we need to have the value of string 2, and the result will be there in string 1 itself. So here we have just strcat of string 1 comma string 2. That means if this is string 1 is computer and string 2 is programming, it simply gives the output as computer programming, and we need to print string 1 to see the output. So just give puts string 1. So this will print the output of strcat. Now to see the variation, let us say now we have computer programming in string 1. Please note, right? String 2 is simply programming. Now the same string 1 we have, and then we give string 2. So this is using strncat, and we specify 10. That means 10 characters of string 2 has to be appended or concatenated with at the end of string 1. So string 2 is programming. So PROGRAMMIN, right? So excluding G. So that is 10 characters. So that will be appended to the end of string 1. Computer programming, programming. That will be string 1. So here again, the output is resultant string is string 1. So print string 1. So let's see the flowchart here shows the same. So declaring the required string, taking input for string 1 and string 2, concatenate the entire string 2 to string 1 and print that string 1. Next part is to show the implementation of strncat, wherein we specify 10. This is just a random value of n. This need not be 10 always. It may be 5, 4 or any other value which we please. So here if we have given as 10, so 10 characters, the first 10 characters of string 2 will be appended to the end of string 1. So the resultant is in string 1 and then we have to print string 1. So let's execute this and see how it works. So clear screen. We have question number 15. So this is to concatenate two strings using the built-in functions strcat and strncat. So exact same program we have here. So let us say we take the program. We are compiling here gcc program name.c and then A is for execution, or we may use a.exe also. So enter string 1. Okay, so here let us give computer string 2 programming, right? So string 1 is computer, string 2 is programming. So strcat should simply combine them together and string 1 should be printed as computer programming. Next, strncat should take only the first 10 letters of string 2 and append it to string 1. So that is what we can see. So string 1 is computer and string 2 is programming. So for strcat, we just appended. Now string 1, please note, string 1 is computer programming. It is not computer. Now string 1 has updated to computer programming. To the end of it, we need to append first 10 letters of string 2. That is excluding G, we have first 10 letters are appended to the end. Let us see another test case. So for example, we give string 1 as presidency and say we give just string 2 as university Bangalore, right? So here we have string 1 presidency, string 2 is university Bangalore. Now note, it has appended the entire string 2 to string 1 presidency university Bangalore. This is for strcat. Now that entire thing is string 1. Among this, so the first 10 characters are university, that is again appended. This is the output for strncat. So at the end of strncat, that is at the end of the program, string 1 is this entire string. And what is string 2? It is only university Bangalore. Note that there is no change to the value of string 2. The resultant string of both strcat and strncat is string 1. So here we have string 1 is Presidency University Bangalore and then university. Okay. So that is the program to implement strcat, and also it illustrates strncat. Next program in the lab sheet is problem number 16, which is to copy one string to another. So as we have just seen, copying using the built-in function is strcpy. So here we have to include this stdio.h, standard input output, and string.h, both the header files. And next in the main function, we declare both the strings. So str1 and str2. for example, is the name of the strings we have declared. So 20 is the size of both the strings. Now we have to take input for one string. So which is to be copied to another. So say we take input for string 1. Now this string 1 has to be copied to string 2. That means the source is string 1, destination is string 2. So from the source, so string 1 has to be copied to string 2. Source is string 1, destination is string 2. So first we need to specify the destination. So in this, first we print string 1. This is optional if we need. So source is string 1, destination is string 2. So the syntax of strcpy is strcpy within bracket destination comma source. So from string 1 we copy the value to string 2. So at the end of this implementation, string 2 will have the same value as string 1. Note that we have not taken any input for string 2. We have taken input only for string 1. The value of string 1 is copied to string 2 and we need to print the value of string 2. So we have taken input for string 1, that is str1, and we are copying that string 1 value to string 2, and next we print the value of string 2 using %s. This is the format specifier for a string. So this is the program to copy one string to another. So the flow chart you have to write similarly. So strcpy is the function. Everything else is pretty simple. Just start and then declare these string 1, str1, str2, then take input for str1. So that will be the input output symbol. Next, just print str1, again input output symbol, and strcpy has to be a function. So a rectangle with border, this statement, and then print str2, that is input output symbol. Please write the flowchart in a similar manner. Next, let us see the program execution. So this is program number 16. So here we have the program. So including the header files stdio.h and string.h. In the main function, declare str1 and str2. We take input only for str1 and then print it for our reference. This is optional. So just we print whatever input we have taken. This is the main statement wherein we are copying the value of string 1. The entire string 1 is copied to string 2. If we use strncpy, we may write comma n value, any number of characters, and then print string 2 also. So here we print string 2. Let's execute this. So compilation is gcc space program name.c, and then we will execute this. So enter the string. Say I enter India. Now this is string 1. So then string 2 is also having the same content. So the entire string has been copied from string 1 to string 2. So this is the implementation of string copy. Okay, so let us go back. So we have one input string and we copy that becomes the source. So copy the entire string 1 to string 2. This is about the string manipulation function. Next, we have problem 17, which is to illustrate mathematical functions. So we know that there are many mathematical functions. We will execute some of them. This is not a exhaustive list. So here we have many more. So we have taken just selected few of the functions. We may include any number. So let us see. This is a problem 17 from lab sheet 3 is to illustrate mathematical functions. So like we have many header files. So the stdio.h is for standard input output. String.h is for string manipulation functions. Similarly, if we have to use mathematical functions, we need to include math.h. So that is, we have the program stdio.h for basic standard input output and include math.h. So this is very important. If we are using any mathematical functions, built-in mathematical functions, we need to include math.h. So in the main function, we are declaring the required variables to see the illustration of different mathematical functions. So random values are given. So any value may be given. Here we take one variable, three integers. So I with a negative value, so -10, and E is an integer with the value 2. D is taken as 10. Next, we take a floating point variable, that is radian. 1.43 is the value of the floating point variable radian. Next, we declare two double variables. So D1 is 3.0, D2 is 4.0. The first function is ABS. ABS is absolute. So absolute means it gives us the positive value. So if we give minus negative value, so it converts it, and without the sign we get the positive value. So ABS of I is -10. So ABS of -10 will give us the answer as 10. So first it prints the value as 10. That is again an integer. Next, we have sine. Since we know the trigonometric functions need to be given in radians, so we have declared radian here. So if we give in degree, we need to convert it to radian and then give the input. So sine of 1.43 will be calculated by this built-in function. The definition of this sine or absolute or tan, cos, whatever mathematical functions we have is defined in math.h. So as soon as the compiler sees this sign, it refers the math.h header file to know what is the meaning of this function and how it has to be implemented. So this function simply calculates the value of sine 1.43 and returns a floating point variable. So that is printed with the help of the format specifier %f. Next function we have is cosine function. So this we can include any number of trigonometric functions here. We have limited to a few only. So find the cos value of 1.43 and print it. We may include tan, cot, any of the trigonometric function. Right. Next we have exponent of E. E is taken as 2. So this gives us the exponent value of 2. So here it returns a floating point variable. Next we have logarithmic value. So natural log of D, so that is 10. So log base 10 is specified differently. This is natural log, that is log base E. So it calculates the logarithmic value log of 10 and prints the answer. Next we have power. So power of D1 comma D2, it means D1 to the power of D2. So here D1 is 3.0, D2 is 4.0. So it calculates 3 power 4 and displays the answer. So let us see. This is the flow chart. So declaring all the required variables with its value. So these are randomly taken, any value may be given, and then we simply print all the values. So we have taken a selected functions only. We may include any number more, tan, cot, or exponent, or whatever we need extra, we can include here. So here we are seeing the illustration of the selected mathematical functions. So let us see the execution of the same. So clearing the screen, we have the function, the program number 17. Compiling this, so here as we see, it is going to have the same we just discussed, header files, stdio and math.h. Within main, we are declaring and initializing the required variables, and then we have all the mathematical functions specified, and we print its value. Let's compile this. So GCC, once we compile and then execute, we can see the values. So 10 and then the value. So here, just comparing this, we have sine of 1.43, cos of 1.43, and similarly we have exponent of E, so exponent of 2, and then we have log of 10, and then 3 power 4. 3 power 4 is 81. Since it is floating point, it displays 81.000. Okay, so that is all about lab sheet 3. Thank you.